Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How you doing? Are you living in your highest and greatest good? Are you asking every day what is possible and how can it get any better than this? No? Better get yourself together. That's why I went all the way to the East Coast to talk to my girl, Laura Miolla.
Hey there, April.
She is a coach extraordinaire and real cool people. I mean, just down to earth. We clicked from day one. She's coming back to the show to tell us how she is, I wouldn't say reinventing, I would say enhancing and raising the frequency, raising the level. If I cannot ingrain anything else in you brains, it's about raising that level of vibrance, because I can't deal with no low or no life. I can't talk. See, I can't deal with those bottom feeders. People are stuck, and you don't have to be stuck. You know, you may not be ascending at your highest level, but you can be right here somewhere in the middle. So we're going to talk to Laura about how to get better, because she is a Brainwise Coach. That takes a lot. What's going on, sweet thing? Welcome back.
No, I appreciate you, April. Always at your high frequency. Thank you for setting the bar and raising our vibe. Well, that's what everybody needs, because I'm all about feel good flow.
Yes. And you know, everybody is just on this downer shit. I don't know what it is. And they're not even taking drugs. They just choose to be negative. They just choose to be slow. They choose to be mean. They choose to feed into all the trickeries and the lies and the deceptions. Stay in your lane, brain. Stay focused. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, Laura.
I am really focused on being a strategic decision partner for my clients, which tend to be, high-level female executives, entrepreneurs, and business owners. I work with the women, like me from my corporate career, who hustle, who have grit, who do it all. But at the end of the day, we've all been sort of trapped by this idea, this myth that, you know what, if you're not where you want to be, you just got to work harder. No, my solution to being overworked and undervalued is negotiation. I want every woman to know not how they do it, but how I do it, which is in tune with the female vibe in a way that works with your brain, so that you are using negotiation for safe self-advocacy. Because I look at negotiation as an exchange of value.
Absolutely.
You are inherently valuable.
Well, people will always tell you, well, we're going to create a win-win. You don't determine my win. I tell you when I'm winning. I know when I'm winning.
That's exactly right.
We live this imposter syndrome. We're always chasing the next shiny object. Oh my goodness, what is it going to be that's going to whet my appetite, that's going to entice me, instead of just being comfortable and being clear? It's like we're living in a haze and a fog. You know all about fog down there where you live. But really, because it's deep. But people are not, it doesn't even seem like they have the chutzpah to tighten up their bootstraps and want better. How do we begin to want better, to be better? You got to want it first.
Everything comes from desire. That's one of the things I teach, right? Is that your primary emotion is what you want. It is desire. And women have this like icky relationship with that word. I love that word. And I want other women to change their relationship with desire, because a lot of them don't know that they can want. Not only can you want, what else is there? There is nothing else. It is your base emotion.
Yeah.
And what we all want fundamentally is safety, connection, and alignment. Those are our neurobiological measures for how we determine if we're in well-being or if we're in threat. So those are the things we want. If you look at every other emotion we feel, fear, what is fear? It's wanting safety. Sadness is
Right.
wanting connection. Anger is wanting alignment. By the way, all these emotions are the levers you use to energize the change you want.
Mhm.
It gives you the motivation, it gives you the power to make changes that you want in your life, to create what you want through negotiation as a vehicle that gets you from here, where you are right now, to there, where you want to be. People think that thought is what creates change, like New Year's resolutions. It's what you feel. And
Right.
women are more tuned to what we feel. And that's strategic information I want every woman to use. And that is
Well,
built into my negotiation framework.
have you slipped off and married Joe Dispenza?
No, but I love Joe
I
Dispenza,
love to, and
right?
it, I listened to him just on the strength because you are what you eat, and you have to be
Absolutely.
that. I have manifested things. I was talking to my husband yesterday, and I got tearful because there's something on my heart that I need to do, and I kept asking the universe, and my subconscious mind, how am I going to get to this plateau? How am I going to do this? Bring me the highest and greatest good. Who is there? Align me with them. I can't see. I don't know what it is I want. I was honest. I had felt that I had achieved my goals. There wasn't anything else to reach for. God said, "Oh no." He says, "I have infinity. I have abundance. You have no idea what I have in store for you." But
You don't have to know.
right. But do I have the capacity to receive it and appreciate it? That's the thing. And am I going, what you gonna do with it? You gonna work with it? How you gonna use it?
See, everybody, everyone wants to know. They want to know what the outcome is going to be. They want to know what's going to happen. And we can't know. Uncertainty is the biggest threat in our consciousness, in our body, in our mind to our survival. So we all want to know. But what happens is if you put that pressure of knowing on yourself, your mind will give you an answer. Your subconscious will say, sure, we are going to give you a judgment. We're going to give you an assumption, which is a guess. We're going to give you an expectation, which is responsibilities you put on other people's shoulders. It's going to give you a projection. Those are just proxies for knowing, but they're not true. And
Mm,
people will base their decisions on them.
right.
So, in my model, it's really important to make things super small. You don't have to know the big picture. You can just tune into your senses right now and say, I'm cold. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to drink that coffee. And when I drink that coffee, I'm going to celebrate it because now I'm in resonance with what I wanted and I can feel it.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to make another small choice that gives me that resonance feeling.
Right.
And another small choice, and another one, and another one. And now, before you know it, you've achieved all these wonderful things and said, wow, and I've enjoyed every step along the way.
Right. It's the ripple effect.
Right. Right. And that's really important to me. Joe Dispenza, I did a lot of work with Dan Siegel, Dr. Dan Siegel at the Mindsight Institute. Mindsight. It's
My sight.
Mindsight.
Oh
Dr.
my.
Dan Siegel. He's
Okay.
amazing. He's awesome. And I also, I trained with a former head coach at Google. So
Mm,
I've done all these things, but fundamentally, everything that I do is neuroscience based because I want alignment with my body, with my feelings, with what my subconscious is aligning with my body to move me in the world. And that's important because I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in
I remember you
2014.
told me that. How's that going?
It's great. I've been in full remission since 2016. A year and a half
Wow.
later, I got to full remission. And I did that by changing everything I eat, I drink, I live, I experience, I lowered my stress. I took all these neuroscience principles and I built them into my life.
Mm,
And what's so fascinating is I had started working with my neurologist in 2014 in full remission since 2016. In 2020, just when COVID was hitting, I launched a program for women focused on creating neuroplasticity for leadership,
mm.
creating neuroplasticity in our brain because it expands possibilities. You create new synaptic pathways easier. It keeps you in balance, all these great things. 9 months later, I meet the neurologist again. He compares my MRI from last year. And for the first time, he says, you have the brain of a 20-year-old. I can see the lesions on your brain, but somehow, and I don't know how, your brain has learned to compensate around them. And I said,
Wow.
neuroplasticity, baby. Everything that I've been doing brought me into remission, brought me into balance. And now everything I do in my work with women is focused on bringing those principles into things like leadership and negotiation, self-advocacy, safety.
What's your ideal client? Because everybody, number one, doesn't get it. Or if they get it and you give it to them, do they apply it? Who is the person that resonates with you the best?
Well, I'm going to give you a recent example because I have many ideal, like I have one ideal client and many current former clients in that bucket who I love, and love to work with. One in particular, started working with her. She took my negotiation masterclass because she is, negotiating a partner deal in her company. She's a COO, negotiating a partner deal. It was perfect because she was not looking at negotiation in the way that I present it. It's not about you at the table because you have to power position yourself well before you get to the table.
Right.
You have to be in your
Absolutely.
worth to know your value. You need to have outlined all of those. You need to be prepared before you show up. And now you're going to be really strategic about what we put on the table and what we take off the table. So it's a whole process for all of that. She was awesome because now we're working together on that partner deal. And she runs a professional networking group in Sonoma called the Wine Women. And I got to do my negotiation masterclass with them,
Oh my
all
God.
senior executives in wine country. So fingers crossed. I just did a couple weeks ago. I'm hoping some wine is coming my way.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know what? You wind the vines together. And that was the most important thing, is that you made a difference, you made an impact, you made somebody feel good about themselves. A lot of people just want to be seen and they want to be heard. But what are other
We have to
folks
do that for
looking
ourselves first. And we have
for
to do it
ourselves?
for ourselves first and model it to everybody else.
Well, people used to call that conceited or self absorbed. It's self love.
And what I teach in this course, going back to physics, we are all energy. Your energy is unique and it's necessary in this universe. That is your worth. You are inherently worthy.
Absolutely.
No one else has your bright spark and they all want it, right? So if you don't value, if your self worth doesn't actually match your worth, if you don't actually perceive it as this wonderful, awesome thing it is, you're diminishing your value.
Right, right, right.
Wow. And that's going to diminish your impact. So we can't do that to ourselves as women.
No, we can't do it to ourselves as women because, again, we do so much. We take care of the kids, we're the chauffeur, we're the cook, we're the banker, but we also want to be loved. What is your love language?
I'm not a great fan of the love languages because they're really focused on what you do for someone versus who you are for someone. So I will say that I consider our values as our relationship language, and I value integrity, respect, freedom, and choice. Those are my top four core values. I
Well, let us be
also,
sloppy seconds because, honey, I want to be hugged and kissed and touched and fed and fondled.
right, but I think it starts with who we are first that then drives what we do. So I think it's values based first. And I also think that, love is important, but in relationship, trust, respect, and reciprocity
Mm, I
are
don't
what
like
create the
that word.
conditions for love.
Right. That's what I'm glad you added that caveat because trust is very conditional. I
And
trust
so is
you if
love.
you do X, Y, Z.
And
Z. And again, I tell people all the time, I'm not an unconditional lover. There's
yeah, but
conditions on my love.
well, that's right. And I say that all the time. Of course, there are conditions on love. Otherwise, someone could beat you. And I'd be like, oh, no, that's okay. So
Yeah.
we have to, so I think it's a myth, this idea of unconditional love. Everything has conditions, and we need to know what those are for ourselves. And again, when someone walks into the boss's office, To ask for a raise, that's not negotiation because it's an unequal power dynamic.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
whatever they give you, like now you're just saying, I have to accept whatever they choose to give me. Mm-mm-mm. No, we're not doing that anymore. No,
Right. But you have to be prepared because there's a
that's
lot
what I'm
of people
saying.
that will step into the office of the boss and, really in their mind, they have a fixed number or a fixed figure that they feel that what they have done is substantial enough. You got to bring receipts, baby.
You have to know your worth. You have to know the value you're contributing. You have to know how it fits in with their strategy. You have to know a lot of things. But you know how I want the women who go through my class to prepare?
Oh,
I want you to put on some music, change your vibe, pick out what makes you feel powerful, put on a spritz of perfume. Understand that it's not you belonging in the room, it is your room.
mm,
Don't go to the boss's office, go take a walk, make it different.
right.
People only pay attention to what is different. So be different, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
negotiation is not about getting to an agreement. You're not making a deal here. You're going to learn and learn and learn and learn. It's a process of assessment, not agreement.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely.
And you're going to keep going through those cycles of learning until you can make a deal decision, all the while knowing what your plan B is going to be. If you can't come to agreement, you're going to walk out. And you got to be prepared to walk out.
But also closing on the deal.
And closing.
A lot of
Closing is
women,
one
a
way.
lot of women from the get-go don't make the ask. And
Don't
then,
ask. Say, I want. I don't want to say ask. I want to say, I want blah, blah,
right,
blah from you.
right, absolutely. But also in the back of your mind, being able to accept a no, counter that no, and say, perfect example.
Frame the no.
Uh, Perfect example with me. I'm having a big issue for the last 3 years. I think the last time I taught you about the big traffic circle and all the
God, that's
cars.
still going on?
Wait a minute, girl. Let me tell you what happened. The cars running into our house 3 years. But you know what? I said to myself, I'm not going to use the word sue at all. I'm not going to take the little bit of money that I have to travel with trying to sue no city over no traffic circle because ultimately I'm going to lose. I got in my mindset, I already envisioned the outcome, what it was going to look like, what they were going to say, what they were going to do. I lived it. I lived it as if it was a memory. I could taste it on my tongue, Laura. Well, long
And
story
you could
short,
feel it in your heart.
your long story short, I go to the meeting here the other day, and $10 million has been donated to finish the traffic circle on my street. They are going to do the beautification. And I want a monument sign. I told them I want to do a ribbon cutting and a monument sign. Working on that, but I was going to fight the good fight. I told them from the onset, come to me only with a can-do attitude. I
That's
know
right.
what you can't do. You've proven to me what you can't do. Come to me with a can-do attitude, the highest and greatest good. So I went in there and I took a big old butt cake and I cut a big piece out of, I cut a big piece, again, different, cut a piece out of the cake
Right.
and put a note right where that piece was missing. I said, the only piece is missing is the replacement of the traffic circle.
That is genius.
And
Genius.
I'm telling you,
Genius.
I was happy. I was crying. I just, again, manifestation is nothing without doing the work. You still have to do the work.
You always have to do the
Have
work.
again, and the quantum physics and the energy that I pulled and the resources and the people. I didn't want a lot of people. I didn't want all the neighbors there with petitions and signs and screaming and hollering and finger pointing. I told them, you cannot come and be civil. Don't even bother to show up because I will ask for you to be removed. I'm not doing that.
You can't come in with a fight. It's not a fight. It's not a war. It's not a battle. This
No.
is about both sides saying, how can we add value to each other? How can we exchange value in ways that we both want? Because you're going to be in a relationship. If you're in negotiation, it means two things. One, you're relevant to each other already. And number two, you're in relationship. So you have to honor your relationship with yourself first, not compromise you, but you also need to honor this other relationship. And whatever you chase will run away instinctively.
Hmm.
So you want to bring them in instead, right? And so much of presenting your value is about presenting in a way that they care about, that is relevant to them, that is resonant for them, that you know about.
Mhm.
People buy based on how they feel and they rationalize it with their minds later. So
Absolutely.
suck them into the story that they want to hear that still aligns and is true for you.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, but that takes skill. That's why they need to work with you.
Well, yeah, sure. And I actually, so I have the master class, which is, it's an investment. It's a time, money, effort investment. It's
Right.
over 2 days, 3 hours each day, because we're getting it done. You're mapping, you're using the framework as you go, as you learn it to walk out with your outline. Every participant gets a free one-on-one follow up with me over Zoom to go through your negotiation, to figure out your next steps, to make sure that it's actionable, you're ready to go. Because there is typically when they come in with their negotiation scenario, there's still a lot of prep work to do, but
Mhm.
we outline what that is, what those next steps are. Then, if they want to, there's an 8 week, action lab where we're going to apply it, where I'm going to go deeper into each of these concepts and we're going to actually flesh it out and work with you as you go through your negotiation. And
And you
then I
know
have
what?
my Money, Love, Sex, Power Mastermind, which
Absolutely.
is a different thing.
But we'll talk about that in 1 second. But you know what? Even if you don't get the job or get the promotion or the seat at the table, the tools that you have, maybe that was not the opportunity for you. Maybe there's something higher and greater.
It's not even a maybe. It isn't. It's not the right opportunity for you. If it's not a win-win for both sides, it's not for either of you. Walk away. The world is your oyster. You literally have a gajillion possibilities as long as you're willing to look at the fact that you have a gajillion possibilities. This is just one thing you happen to be exploring right now. We cannot be attached to an outcome,
Mm.
right? We cannot be attached to that. What we can be attached to is not compromising ourselves while we explore the opportunity. Is it still an opportunity? Or is
Right.
it not?
Absolutely.
And what are the deal breakers where you know it's not? So if you've mapped all those things in advance, now you're walking out, with your own playing field. It is your room, right? You own this room. And anything that you're offering is an invitation. You're not manipulating, you're not selling, it's an
Right.
invitation.
Right. 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 See, Brains, you better take some notes here.
Right, right. So this is what I even in my this is how I run my business. Like I don't sell. I have value. I share it. I share it as knowledge in other ways. And if someone says, "Yeah, I want to do more work with you or I want more of your knowledge," they raise their hand and we negotiate.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
I
And you
want
should
everyone to
always,
negotiate, use their voice. Get used to using your voice. Get used to the fact that, shrinking or putting on your imposter syndrome suit is a threat response. Your
Mhm.
body is trying to protect you from risk, but the fact that you see it as risk means that you're not valuing yourself,
Right. You need to see it as an
right?
opportunity to grow, to be challenged. That's wicked. That's some good stuff there. That's some good stuff.
That's
Tell us
right.
about your other mastermind.
So the mastermind, so one is the master class on negotiation. The mastermind is a monthly meeting. Money, love, sex, power. These are the taboo topics that are used to shame and silence us as women. It's about us turning the tables on those taboo topics to say, we own this is ours. We own it. We have a solid relationship with money, sex, power to all create freedom for ourselves and create our own, equity strategies. How are we getting paid back for all the work that we do? How do we adequately move the needle on the gender pay gap? How do we make sure that we can be safe? And this is a network, a community of women who are all helping each other now get to where you want to be.
Right.
So that community aspect, I think that, you know, I launched this after the election just because I want women to have safe circles. Um, and I'm also, I'll be honest, I'm pretty pissed off. Like every single professional women's group that I've been to end up being clicky social groups. And I'm like, I'm about business people. I got to bring
Right.
home a paycheck. I am my paycheck. So I don't have a lot of time just to shake hands and have a Zoom call.
Right.
I want stuff that's where the rubber meets the road. And I also, think it's really important that we can have safe conversations. My first pregnancy was a miscarriage, and I was so angry after the fact because I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? Why aren't women talking about what happens? Why aren't we talking about all the bad shit? We don't have to be perfect. We can't be perfect. So let's just take it off the table. Let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, so that
Right.
we can just be with it and get it outside of ourselves so we don't have to carry it.
Wow. I,
That's what's important to me.
well, I'm telling you, you are important to me. You did you write a book? You wrote a book.
I did. I have not. I have not, but I'm in the process of writing a book.
I love an audio book from you.
Oh, why is that?
Just because I love your voice inflection, the power. Um, I don't have to delve so deep into my imagination. I can have someone that ignites it and sparks it. So I really kind of like that feel and that vibe. And it's so user friendly. Again,
Well, I
you're able to hear
appreciate
it.
that.
Yeah, you're able to hear it when you're riding your bike and pushing
Yeah,
the baby in the stroller. When you really need that inspiration, you just click on Laura.
but the book I'm writing is actually, the title is called My Mother's Voice,
Mm.
Lessons Learned from Not Doing as I Was Told.
Oh,
And
well, that's a different kind of book.
it is a different kind of book because it's really about, my relationship with my mother, hers with me, but also the difference in generations of women, and also the fact that my mother came from, Mississippi.
Mm,
My dad was from Brooklyn.
mm,
And so we lived in different worlds, and I come from both places in different ways that most people would not guess about me.
mm.
And also, I want to be able to contrast, here I grew up with the, thinking women were equal, the equal rights movement. And my mother always came from a totally different perspective from her generation, not having access to money, not having access to opportunity, being poor, and being able to show, what I lived through, but also in the context of what was going on in the country
Right.
that shaped those perspectives from her and from me, that created that conflict between her and I, because we all were pointing in different directions. Women are divided
Right.
intentionally in this country. And I also go to say that, women are not legally equal because the Equal Rights Amendment was never amended to the Constitution. It could have been. Trump didn't do it. Biden didn't do it. It took until 2020 until it was fully ratified. And, so much of the economy is built and energized by women's work because we work really hard, we're underpaid, and yet we pay more for anything marketed to women.
Oh, right.
Right. So,
The price of razor blades
right,
because the
right. So,
pink.
so we fuel the economy. We fuel the economy, and so there's no priority to make us physically or financially safe,
Right.
because then we might not work so hard. I'll give you an example. We could be made physically and financially safe. We aren't. One example, there are 4 required car safety tests in the United States. None of them require female crash test dummies
Really.
because women are not the priority. And so if women aren't the priority, we want us individually to make ourselves the priority.
How did you find that out? I mean, that's a trivia question.
It's just stuff that I look at. I look at all the data. 77% of all women are employed, and 50% of those employed women contribute half to 100% of their household income. That's a lot of women who are bringing home the bacon,
Right.
right? And yet we are still undervalued because we're not valuing ourselves.
Right.
And I was a couple years ago, right after we did our original interview, I was invited to speak at a leadership conference for women, and I created this presentation, Leadership is a Pink Cashmere Dress, which I later videoed, and then I was looking at the agenda, and I declined to participate because their keynote in a women's leadership conference was a retired male disabled general.
Oh, wow.
And I said, so I don't know for sure, but what you're indicating to me is you're going to promote a male definition of leadership about hierarchy and power, and your equivalent to, not having a woman is having someone who's disabled. So it did not sit right with me. And I declined to participate. And I will continue to put out other videos and other things that maybe have less of a stage. But, I think it's important to be clear about where and what we stand on.
Well, right. I mean, you have to stand on integrity, you know,
Right.
you have to be true to who you are, because if you're not, then you're disingenuous. And why would anybody want to, have you pour into them? And it's lies and trickery, just like everything else that's going on in the world. So
Well,
let's
and
ask
that,
you some. Oh, go ahead.
sure, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you some fun questions, but go ahead. Give me one more deep thought.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I look back at when I was in my corporate career, and I'll tell you, when I created that presentation, Leadership is a Pink Cashmere Dress, it's because way back in the day when I was in strategy, sales, and business development, and I first got into coaching, I had to hire a coach as part of the process. And she'd asked me, "What is your life like right now?" And the first thing that popped in my head was, my life is like I'm wearing this gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful tailored black suit, and it fits me beautifully. And I'm wearing these 4-inch heels and I look stellar. But what nobody knows is that my feet are leaving a trail of invisible blood with every step in
Mm.
those shoes, and that suit is entirely made of paper, and I have paper cuts all over my body. And every time I move, it cuts me. And I'm petrified that it will rain or I'll sweat through it and I'll be left naked. That was my answer. That was what my corporate life was like. And she asked me, "What would you want it to be?" And I said, "I would like it to be a pink cashmere dress." And I have created a leadership definition for women based on that pink cashmere dress, because our style is different and we don't have to do it any other way besides what is my way. I help women figure out what is your way. And I'm really blessed and proud to do that work. And for women to leave corporate, to go through the ranks of corporate and feel good about themselves, but also to leave corporate and start their own businesses, make their own money, to help scale businesses, female businesses. That's all really important to me because money is freedom and power.
Right.
I
If
want women to do it your way, just like you do it, April. You do it your way, and I do it my way.
yeah, but again, as I say, it's my way or the highway. So driving down the highway of life, what have you done recently for yourself outside
Oh,
of create this dynamic business?
this has been a loved project, and it's taken a huge amount of my time. But I did in August. Um, I took a friend and we just had a little escape into the White Mountains,
Oh, and so you
just
are
to
the
just
mother
to
of.
slow down for a second and just be like, we're going to be in nature. Oh, I went up to the Mount Washington Hotel, okay, which is this huge, it looks huge, old Grand Lady Hotel
I've seen
at,
pictures of it.
at the base of Mount Washington in the presidential rain. And I had this amazing deep tissue massage,
Mm.
then the steam room, then the sauna, in the hot tub, looking at the mountains, and a spa day that was just amazing.
So, what do you say to the woman that is trying to juggle all these balls, but she is also the mother? Because there's a softer sell sometimes, other times, you have to take that negotiation into your home.
Absolutely. And I do talk in the master class about the fact that negotiation isn't just some, high powered negotiation. It's also who's going to make dinner,
All
right?
right.
And one of the tools you don't just have to say yes to everything, and you don't have to say no. You can also say yes and. So, oh, you want me to make dinner tonight? Yes. And I will absolutely do that when you take out the trash, clean the kitchen, do the dishes, and set the table. Is that a deal? Great. Because what we don't do is, it's okay to say yes to things that you want to do as long as responsibility is reciprocal. Because again, the healthiest relationships have reciprocity in them, and also respect that these are all learning experiences. I wish I did more of this with my kids, my two teenage boys. Like, you know,
But it's discipline.
It's
It's the
it's discipline, but also like figure it out for yourself. You don't need me for everything. Certainly, if there's blood, fire, vomit, yeah, you need me.
right, 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 right,
But
right,
for these other things, you can do your laundry, you can clean your bathroom, you can do these things, and you can contribute. Let family members contribute to your life. Women, we don't let people contribute to us. You know, why not? If someone wants to help is kind of a dangerous word. It can mean control in a lot of people. Like I know I'm going to help you because I know a better way. Um, but if someone wants to contribute, let them. It's not weakness to let someone help you. You're allowing them to feel good about themselves. Let
absolutely.
them,
Right.
right?
However,
I think that's important.
it is
You know, and if you're juggling all the plates, how many of those are real? How many are real versus what you think you should do versus what you really have to do right now that's relevant to you and what you want?
and that you feel good about doing,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I feel good about, you know, serving my husband breakfast because I know that I'm going to be appreciated, and then tomorrow he'll serve me.
That's
Uh,
right.
if you are working with a coworker, just the fact that you don't know what that person is going through, but just the fact to look over and say, "Hey, good morning, how you doing?" Or maybe pick a rose out of your garden and leave it on their desk. Something to raise someone else's self-esteem, their value, their worth. Again, to let them know that they are being seen and they
That's
are
right.
loved. Yeah.
And you make a good point. You can't know what anybody else's experience is.
Oh,
Assumptions are just guesses, and it's disrespectful.
yeah.
Communication says, how are you? What is actually going on? And that is the respectful thing. But also to say to yourself, I respect myself, that if I'm focused on all these plates, that means I'm not focused on the ones that really matter. So let's see who else can pick up some of this load. All responsibility needs to be shared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 1,000% on that. Uh, if you were an appliance in the kitchen, since we're talking about the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Ooh, great. I would be a carving knife.
Oh boy. And tell me why.
You know why? Because I cut to the heart of the matter. No bullshit. And knives are really important, right? To make things, to cut them up, put them in shapes, for us to, eat them or be with them or whatever. We need knives, but we also need to cut into. Um, there's so much, like, look at surgeons. It's ironic. They cut to heal. It's ironic.
Right.
And yet cutting is important because we add all these layers of what I consider, to some degree, I know it's subconscious, but belief systems that are nonsense, that aren't really real.
Right.
And those beliefs end up deciding for you. So I cut through all that. Like, what is real here? That is who I am.
Right. Right.
I
Well,
like to say I'm the bowl and the knife, but
wow. So I have decided that I'm going to be the trash can
tell me more.
because I want to be the place where you dispose of the things that no longer serve you. That I want to be the place where you can recycle, repurpose, renew. And I want to be taken out often and regularly. Yes, ma'am. I'm the garbage can. Ain't no
I
problem.
love that.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Oh, I think I made peony.
Oh, yeah, you look like a peony.
I do. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
because I think it's kind of exotic and also just
Cute, rare,
always,
expensive,
yeah,
bright,
no, I'm
vibrant.
not fussy like an orchid though.
Yeah, well,
Peony,
yeah, okay. All right, that's good. That's good. What what is your spirit animal?
an otter. I love otters.
I can see you. I can see that too.
I love otters. I love how intelligent they are, how communal they are. I love their spirit. I love that they're committed to each other.
Right, right. I didn't appreciate otters until I went to Alaska and I actually saw I don't know if you call them a school, a family, or what, but they were grooming themselves. They were a community, and they were
Yes.
so cute. And I got to touch one at the animal preserve, and their skin, I mean, their fur is like mink.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous.
They're
Gorgeous.
absolutely the cutest things ever.
Absolutely. And I also love elephants. So,
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I
right.
got to experience the elephants in Thailand. We went to a place, and I didn't know that they had keepers that are called matutes, and the matute will follow the elephant and their family for their entire lifespan.
Wow.
So they have
Didn't
one
know that.
owner, yeah, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Um, what's your favorite meal? What do you like to eat? Now that you've changed everything, what have you just
Well,
come up with that's
I'm
wonderful?
still, very partial to, oysters, raw oysters. I love raw oysters. There's a place that does them with a tarragon mignonette that
Really?
I dream about.
Mm.
Yes.
That's
Haven't
that's
had it
the
in a
that's
while.
the otter in you.
That's right. Love caviar. Always love caviar, but haven't had it in a while. So in general, I eat very clean in terms of having plant-based versions of protein or, actual real beans, eggs, very not as much like meat protein and lots of vegetables.
Yeah. And so you found that made a remarkable difference in your healing?
That intermittent fasting has
Mm.
been huge, and walking, anything that you do with both sides of your brain, swimming, bicycling, walking, running, opens up access to your prefrontal cortex to give you more access to your executive function, your creativity, imagination, problem solving, decision making, empathy, and memory. So exercise is key in everything.
Absolutely.
Balance.
Absolutely. Um, if you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
What kind of car am I, or what would I want to be? Is the question. I guess I'd love to be a convertible Maserati, but that's not,
Why not? Quick and slick, top down.
Yeah, but I think that's it's not really authentic. Like I have that vision in my head that it'll be slick, but it's not really who I am. I love my little Mazda, CX-5. I love that I
I
can
can
throw
see
things in the
you in that
back.
Maserati in that pink cashmere dress. Are you kidding me? I sure
Well, the
could.
problem is it's really hard to find a pink cashmere dress when I'm only 5'1" in petite sizes. So, it's really hard. I should be looking for girl sizes, maybe.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, please tell my brains about any current offerings, the mastermind, how to get in contact with you, because I'd love for them to work with you. I really
Thank
would.
you. April, you're the best.
Thank you.
So it's Laura Miolla at Laura Miolla for LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. My website is the Brainwise Coach. On that website, you can see links for the negotiation masterclass. I just today posted upcoming dates in April, November, and December that accommodate East Coast and Europe, and then other ones. There's the one in November accommodates West Coast, since that tends to be where my clients are. Though I do have some,
Are you
in
coming
other
here
parts of the
live,
world.
or is that going to be virtual?
Oh, it's live. It's no, it's on Zoom.
Oh, I thought I was going to get to see you in the flesh.
You mean, oh, the master class?
Oh.
No,
Well,
I do
no,
it.
no, you probably need to do the master class, but I thought you were coming to speak or something. I was getting all excited.
Oh no, no. I would like to. The wine women wanted me out in Sonoma, and so I've got to figure that. And I have a bunch of East Coast friends and former clients who moved to LA. So at some point, I gotta head west because I have a whole bunch of peeps down over there, and I totally want to. But the master class is done over Zoom.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, and there's a whole packet people get, and they fill things out as we go, and then they get a summary guide later, which gives them their whole reference guide, and they get their one-on-one with me, and every single woman who's gone through it has said, "This is nothing like I thought it would be. Changed my entire worldview. Immediately actionable, mind blowing."
Wow. Well, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. And in closing, Laura, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want us to remember you?
I want people to remember me as being entirely driven by making sure that women are fully free of any systems or stories that make them feel small.
That's a
I
tall.
want women to be fully free of systems and stories that make you feel small. That's
That's
what I care about. I want to be remembered based on what I care about.
that's a tall cup of latte. It
I
is.
hope so. I hope it's a big gulp, actually. You know,
Absolutely. Get
because
a
because I
refill. Can we get a
we need
refill?
more. That's right. Always. This whole interview is a refill, right? It's our second one.
Absolutely.
So I'm so blessed.
Absolutely. Well, I am so glad to have you. I love you deeply and completely. We are friends outside of this podcast. We are going to connect. I'm coming that way, or you're coming this way, and we're going to have some oysters. Absolutely.
Right.
I think I probably need to come up there so I can get the best ones.
The best ones. Thank you.
All right, darling. Well, thank you so much for being here on the edge. Again, I can't thank you enough for your support, for your love, for your encouragement, and all the wonderful things that you do for not just me, but for women around the world, because you are an advocate. And a lot of women don't, I shouldn't say they don't have a voice, they temper their voice. And you raise it to the next level, the next
Thank
frequency.
you.
Okay.
Thank you,
So,
April.
friends, I need you to go in, love, like, share, and subscribe, and contact Laura. Okay. Love, like, share, and subscribe. If you think she went all in on this, you have no idea what you're going to get one on one. Okay. So, can you see this? It's kind of dark, but that just Google me. You know where I am. I love you.
That's right.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.